Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to SKTV Live. Welcome and welcome. Welcome and welcome. Let's share the show, please. Give me a second. Let's share the show, please. Share the show. If you can't, share the show with us, please. If you can't, please share the show. Share the show, please. Let's share the show, please. And please. Thank you. Thank you and thank you for sharing the show. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's share the show, please. Good morning. Sorry, I seem distracted. Let's share the show, folks, please. Let's share the show. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see here real quick. Take a quick musical break, folks.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Monitor people who waiting to sell. Blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The project is giving us care and the promise of them. So welcome and life with African.
I lyrical
Master.
Clay Paris, who make you I can't ask it if you been you. Say my chenny, Tina can ask my yamu. And yes, I know money, and more I know. And you love
SKTV, the best in Liberia. SKTV, the best in Africa. SKTV, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grand bazaar.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't flee ya to money, and I could go ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't flee ya to money, and I could go ya to money, and I forget it now ya to money. That's the thing, and I forget it now.
All right, folks. Milborn will be joining us here. Let me see where's Milborn. I went to look for Milborn. My young man, I don't understand your Supreme Court rule you highly.
No, I would ever have a big rule. Look, Steve, we are people of justice. We believe in justice. That's why we serve the Almighty Creator, who is a just God. You know, people don't understand when he say, "Oh, God is a just God." Look, God gave up all of us. Steve, He gave everybody what when rainfall, right?
Mama, you calling it and the poor rule you have now without God, you calling God in you follow all kind of zaman. Where your story?
Look, my young man, what's up? Today is Saturday, and
leave people. I don't understand you. We're talking about the court rule. You ran away since yesterday. Since the Supreme Court rule, because you've been working with the majority black.
The Supreme Court?
Yes. Because you've been working with the majority black on a send a court rule. Guess what? To see that even to get my call, normally we can talk. So what?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But let me tell you now, I run away for too many of interpretation. You know, Steve, when you are controlling your family or your children or your home, and maybe nothing well happening in your home, and the children ask you, or maybe their mom asks you as a father, then you just leave a blank, or maybe blank that and just say anything you want to do, that one you want to do. You know what? It's all the children watching DJ they do that work. You're going to say,
but that's not what the Supreme Court said.
No, I'm not saying the way the Supreme Court said. That's the interpretation of other people. But the Supreme Court, for me, in my layman, sorry that yesterday I was not able to really be with you people like that and give my own view on maybe how some of us in our layman understand. Let me tell you this, Steve. And let me be fair and let me be frank with all of you here today. The layman understanding out there, sometimes it can be far different, it can be far better than even some of us who feel that we have all of the knowledge, we are well educated, we have all of the degrees, we have all the PhD and everything. But the layman understanding, Steve, sometimes it can be far better and it can be good. So I just trying to tell you, but I move on with that.
How can the layman understanding be better than the educated people? Because you know what we can say in Liberia, they can bring laws in the country. You say the laymen understand the same thing. Some people say, oh, the Congo people, and let's get a country to the country boys, and they want all the time the country people have led Liberia. Liberia has been in a disastrous, disgraceful, disappointing state. As we speak now, you check the House of Representatives, that's also different name in there, right? All the country board and they don't want the House of Representatives, but they don't want corrupt, they don't want they are criminally minded, they don't want, so I mean, I don't understand. One meaning that the Congo people country, another meaning, I just don't get it, bro.
So when it comes to that, let me just tell you today, and let me be frank, even on the show, for me, I don't believe in all of the kind of more racist talks, this other that and that trouble and all the kind. For me, I don't believe into all these things. Politicians, they do these things, Steve, to manipulate the mind of the people. They do these things to make things look like Steve is not a raw countryman, because why? Steve, one way or the other, Steve was having some of the best opportunity to go out of Liberia to go to school, maybe acquire best education, and come back home to serve his country and say, oh, still not native, still not. For me, I don't believe into all these things. Politicians do these things. And what they do to our people, they blind the eyes of our people with all of the trouble things. Today, like you are saying, and they are there, right? According to you. But for me, whosoever that is there, your workings, Steve, that we're going to speak for you. No matter which tribe you come from. Barack Obama today in the U.S., he will be remembered as one of the U.S. best president. And not because of his color or because of where he coming from, no. But because of his performance.
My man, Obama get homosexuality, man. Leave that thing, bro.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm not saying this.
That Obama the time the gay people that ready to be passing around, be misbehaving, men and be talking to women, men and be misbehaving in public. That Obama then up gay, our sister they hard time today, they looking for men who they that Obama made our sister, some of our sister they looking for men, they making not frustrated on Facebook.
But the party you supported because they had to go that way, Steve. So that was not
we party.
You know the party that you guys supported in the going election.
Well, I don't. Wait. I never supported a party. That would be clear.
Okay, no problem.
Let me no, let
Okay,
me
so
clear.
it.
Let me clear on something. I said I prefer 100%, and I still stand by that. I prefer what the lady name, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Kamala
Any
Harris.
day over a joker like Donald Trump.
Okay.
And I stand by that. The same way how I said, open the during the election. Anything George Weah, anything Joseph Boakai de la Bronco should run away from it. I don't mince my words. I don't change my statements unless the situation changes. So as we stand, I still stand by what I said. That Donald Trump is a joke. Donald Trump is not a presidential material. He's a convicted criminal. And it's a shame and a disgrace. Oh, wait, now, let me hear my thought now. It's a shame, disgrace on the United States. I said on the show that Kamala Harris will be best and best suited for this job at this time. If the American people choose to vote the other way, they vote the other way. It doesn't mean I support the Democratic Party. I'm not part of no political party. You go check my record.
Wonderful. So let me ask you this question. Is this election your first ever election that you ever maybe openly supported someone, or you've been supporting maybe previous or past candidates?
No, this is the very first election I have in the United States. I was vocal and stood my ground, especially with that based on Donald Trump's behavior. When Donald Trump first ran in 2016, I did not support anybody. I did not support Hillary Clinton. Neither did I support Donald Trump. But in my heart, deep down in my heart, preferably I would have preferred Hillary Clinton because I knew Donald Trump was a joke just from his personal life, just from things he said. I mean, let me tell you something. The way people behave in their personal lives, it speaks volumes so much of them. Donald Trump was a loose cannon in his personal life. He's a liar. He's a joker. And you think you're going to make him president or making the low serial or you'll be serial minded? You're wasting your time. And they saw exactly the same thing we said about Joseph Boakai. Don't elect Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai brings nothing to provides nothing for the Labrampo and to the Labrampo. They never listen to us. We told it, we profiled Joseph Boakai on the show that if Joseph Boakai is elected, this is what he would do. This is exactly who he is. This is what he's capable of doing. They never listen today. Joseph Boakai is doing exactly what we said. So I'm not shocked by the behaviors that I'm seeing. I'm not surprised. You know, I'm not at all. So
yeah. So to your question about maybe the layman understanding of things and their way of doing things without of maybe the educated one, I want us to a little bit maybe to look at that before transitioning. So Steve, when something happened, I think you know about jurors, right? And you know about jurors when it comes to case, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. So what you think that people or the Supreme Court or the court always having jurors?
Well, because it's constitutional. One, that to avoid any kind of, in some cases, to avoid any kind of bias or any kind of problem, they get peers. You know, the jurors are people, they're not different people, they're the same regular day people who they'll bring in, and the judge provides them with instructions. I was just selected to go for juror duty or whatever it is, and I went. And it's random. They select you randomly. I've gone for the state of Arizona. I've gone for the city. You know, they select you randomly, and you go there to give you specific instructions based on the case. Most of the times, some of the instructions, they will tell you, if, for example, it's a high-profile case, they'll say, don't watch TV, don't discuss it with anyone. You know, they'll ask you some technical questions. And if you say you're comfortable enough to be on the case, definitely they will keep you on the case. If you say, for some reason, you're not comfortable or they deem that you are not best suited for that case, they will disqualify you. And they will let you go from the case. So, yeah, that's the reason. Those are the reasons. They want fairness.
Thank you. I like how, in fact, you don't know everything. So that's good. That's the role of jurors or maybe people who go always and give your courts in making sure that they participate into the happening or maybe crimes and so forth. So yeah. So my take with the layman issue, and you brought in about people and this and that. You know, Steve, with a court issue. Sometimes even if you come back or even if you follow someone on Facebook post comments and so forth, you will see some of our people who are not lawyers or who don't understand anything. You will see some of them talking like, in fact, what they are saying is even making more sense than those people who even call, quote unquote, maybe high profile lawyers or high profile case, because some of them.
But it don't make sense. That here's the thing. No. Let me hold you there. No. Let's get something straight, my man. Let's get something straight. This is the mentality we have in Labrador. No disrespect to our people. People who are expert in certain things. Someone who don't know nothing. Someone who passes around with a gut feelings, and you say they make more sense. If you're not expert in something, you don't know what the people are talking about. You don't know what's going on. You can't come there over. That's why people got experts in things. I'm very confused. I'm gonna send a link to Monk now.
I did already. I'm coming on.
So we can't leave experts. Don't get me wrong. There are some experts that are corrupt or so forth. But the truth about it is, we can't overshadow it and say the layman understanding supersedes experts or people who know. It's like somebody coming to lecture me about what I know, what I went to school for, what I was trained to do, what I've been through all my life professionally. What my job is. You expect somebody who comes from in the village in Butu to are you really serious?
Indeed, 100%.
You can't tell me what's up.
And you can be causing the other people who can be doing nonsense. You still, and you can be causing the other people.
No, I've never caused anybody.
Then okay, sorry, but
no. Let's get that clear too. I've never insulted anybody.
Yeah, I'm saying, sorry. No, I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that you can be making confusion with maybe the other group of people who can be doing the kind of thing, right? You can be calling and you say that they're telling what they can be doing.
Which other group of people? Be specific. I'm confused.
That, for example, the gay and the lesbian people are they not educated people?
They're educated people. I've never. You see that?
Okay, but that move.
I've never questioned their education or their profession. No, I've never done that. But what I've questioned is changing reality and trying to make everybody to accept what's not normal to be a normal thing. That's what I've questioned. Is that me waking up one day and say because I have rights, so I have right to go sleep with an animal. That's how I feel. That's my right. Well, that's not a norm. That is not a norm. So that's why I question. So I question abnormality. I question how a man will see another man in a private part stance. I question that. Does that make any sense to you? Does that make any sense to a rational person? It does not. Something got to be psychologically wrong with you to choose that path. Something got to be wrong with you. To see your friend, man, the same thing you got, somebody got it, and you say you stand, and what about them that turns you on? Something not right. And I've said it, I prove it over and over. In the 1960s, in the early 60s, when a man was deemed homosexual, that man was classified, he was diagnosed as mentally retarded. He had a mental problem. So they took it off the dictionary because they wanted to normalize it. They took it off the diagnosis. What we use is called the DSM-5. That's what we use to diagnose people. They took it off there. So you want me to accept that? No, I'm not going to accept that. And that's why I question. I've always questioned that. It doesn't make any sense.
So then that means that you already concur with me on what I'm saying, that the layman out there will always tell you that you, Steve, what you've been saying is 100% true, and in fact, they also side with you. But those people who quote, they are maybe they are professional, or maybe they are professors, or maybe they have PhDs and so forth, and or maybe some of them quote, maybe they are also educators, though. But guess what? Now their doings are also wrong. So the layman will not come and say no. I think the way you are proceeding, I will get something. My point here is the way you will interpret, the way you will say something, or the way you will do something, the layman out there will have his own way or her own way of interpreting and doing things. And sometimes, if that so that, for example, some of the lawyers, if you follow their rather right, even on their own interpretation with our whole court issues on yesterday, Steve, you will notice that some of them, they even put in their own emotions, their own political jackets, or maybe they put on their own political feelings and so forth. So the layman say no. And I think this is what maybe the court is saying. Well, I'm just trying to portray to you.
Well, let me say this to you. There are some things that are written and they are clear. There are some things that are written and they're clear. And one of our brothers makes a very good point. He said, many of the time I've questioned some interpretation of Bible, from pastors. And that's true. You know why I've questioned it? Because those pastors are not educated and informed enough. For example, you can't take a scripture because you want it to suit what lifestyle or whatever you want at that time to use it to benefit you. That's not what it was meant for. Now, in order for us to have a common ground, for us to agree on that scripture and interpretation, then we got to go back to the original interpretation of what was meant or what was said. And that's where I question some of these pastors and some of these religious people. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit to what you just said. I questioned yesterday the ruling from the court from some of the interpretation of some of us who are not lawyers, because the thing is very clear. The English is very clear in there.
And some lawyers.
They never wrote it. They never wrote it in Hebrew and translated it in English, or they never wrote it in English and translated it in Madalet Bandi. But they never did that. So since they wrote it in simple English and there's dictionary all around, then let's go back and read what was said. We can't interpret what was said out of the context of what the original case was. And this is how people should interpret things. That is the simplest way of teaching people. When somebody writes something like the court, or you read the Bible and your pastor go and say something different, it's very simple. Go back to the original interpretation. What did that actual word meant? So if you go back to the original interpretation, then you got the actual context, and you keep in context also the culture and the time that would. Then you got the entire interpretation of what it was meant to say. But somebody can tell me, say, oh, somebody can, because they want to position me, use scripture to position me or whatever, and I say the right, and say, oh no, I will question it. So I mean, basically, that's what I'm trying to say. It has nothing to do with looking down anyone or whatever it is, but it's just the truth of the matter. It's just the fact. You get people who want to interpret things because they want to suit them, and that's true.
That's the point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. But now, when more come in,
story. What's going on?
Not much. No, listen to the conversation, just following, and we got caught up yesterday in the. We couldn't even do our regular Friday or how they call it a contribution because the information coming from the Supreme Court, it draws so much attention that we never even had time. We went straight into it, but anyway, it's a weekend. We still continue today and tomorrow for our weekly quota as always. But I'm enjoying the conversation, and you've been laying some salient points when it comes to the interpretation. And matter of fact, that the very first premise the Supreme Court started with yesterday, that when you're interpreting the law, every provision of the law is important. So you don't take one or two articles of the Constitution and try to make a doctrine out of it. You have to understand in its totality. And that was part of the ruling yesterday, that you should read the Constitution in totality, not take a couple of provisions that align with your pre-existing belief and want to make it to a law. And one thing we say on this show, the Supreme Court cannot interpret law that does not exist. Yesterday's decision was one of the most political decisions I've ever seen coming from any Supreme Court. And at the end of the day, I keep saying it, the game we're in the same, nothing changed. We didn't even move the ball an inch. We are back to square one. And politics will always take precedence over the law. That's why I said, and I maintain my position.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kane. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we are.
Good. We are.
Yeah, so I just listened to Monk when he was concluding what he was saying. This is something that we said yesterday again, and I think the Supreme Court confused the people more, and the Supreme Court kind of dashed the people's hope, and because those who were expecting a clear-cut decision from the Supreme Court, they didn't get it. Those who are politically driven, they will spin it the way they want to. Everybody will spin it the way they want it. At the end of the day, there will be no clear winner. And that means the country benefited nothing from what the Supreme Court did. After all, the hope and trust was vested into the Supreme Court. So now, since the Supreme Court said they cannot take a certain decision that will, make them, to violate the Constitution, even though they are the final arbiters of the laws of the law in the country, they can interpret the law. they can come down with their opinion as the highest code of the land that will be in the interest of the country, and everybody should respect that. But they didn't do none of that. All they did, they try to put, what we call a cosmetic approach, try to make things fine, using Latin words that will confuse the people more. And this is Liberia. Yesterday, I heard some people saying that, oh, this is how the Supreme Court works. They never come straight. That's the lie. We living in the most democratic country. The Supreme Court of the United States, they have made several decisions, and they were clear about it. When the Roe v. Wade, decision was taken, they were very clear. When they decided to say Donald Trump, we have immunity on everything that he will do or he has done as president of the United States, that he will be immune from any prosecution. That was clear. There's no back and forth or people going to have their own interpretation of what that means. That's clear. Even a blind person, like Mo always says, Steve Harvey or whatever that person is, what that guy name said, the blind guy.
Steve Warner.
Steve Warner.
It's so clear that Steve Warner can see it.
Yeah, even Steve Warner can see that. So the Supreme Court of Liberia did service to the Liberian people, and I think they can do better than that. They have created more problem than they made the whole thing, because people were hoping that Supreme Court will solve the problem. Supreme Court will give an opinion, an idea. But you know what it's going to do? This is like a throwing Fanatic Kofa under the bus again. I don't know what they say they want something, but they tell you, say, you brought complaint to us, we can't do nothing about it, you're going and fix it.
No, Mr. Kana,
and they didn't stop there. They said, in fact, the reliance of, in the Constitution is in fact vague. They're saying that. The Supreme Court, imagine the highest court of the land saying that the reliance of the people in the Constitution, the article that they are relying on to interpret as to what is right or wrong, he says it's vague. They say it's vague. That means there's a hole in it. It has no clear-cut understanding or explanation as to what is right or what is wrong, or who can do what. So, for me personally, I believe it started with politics. It's going to end with politics, because Supreme Court did nothing absolutely that could move a needle.
No, Mr. Kana, let me disagree with you.
That's
because the Supreme Court was very clear about certain things. We can't just say blanketly the Supreme Court did nothing and the Supreme Court just left it open. No, me personally, that's not what I read, and that's not what in the communication. The first thing the Supreme Court did was whatever the men did to go elect Kun, that was nullified. And that's something that you and Monk keep skipping and you don't want to agree with, which is problematic. And you are making it more like to say you guys want to agree with these people to be outlawed to say Kun is still a speaker when the Supreme Court said it's not a speaker. Let's be clear.
Let me read it. Let me read the document again over to settle this through.
Steve,
I got it here.
Monk.
No, one second, we're talking about interrupting. This is not fair. No, this is not fair.
So, Monk, we want to read it. Read it better based on the because
you made your case. I know I interrupted you. I know I
agree with Steve.
Let me learn.
Hold
Ask a question.
on, Steve. We're not cutting you off. We are having conversation and nothing to be emotional about here.
No, I'm not emotional.
Yeah. When you're talking with somebody interject, you don't have to complain. You don't have to cry, baby. Just listen.
No, but when you do that, then you throw me off track. You don't want me to make my point, and that's not fair because we listened to you. You spoke.
But then
go ahead. At a time, it will be fair. Then you can come.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but when you be stuck, then you don't want me to make my point. That means you got a political motive to throw me off track.
For me, for me when I'm talking, the father know what I'm saying. If you interject, I don't have problem.
No. You trying to
But
what
go
you
ahead.
trying to do? What you trying to do is to throw me off
Go
balance.
ahead, my man. Go ahead.
and that's a political tactic that you always use to get me.
So, Steve, what I wanted to
That's a
do for
lie.
us here today, and Steve,
My
let
man,
me
no
read it bit by bit.
way. I
Yeah.
beg you. Let me write my point down now. Let's say ask a question because I will still go back to the point I want to read.
Yes.
You will not throw me off today. Today that's Saturday we here. Mr. Can I ask a question? We here today.
Okay. The question I wanted to ask you is that the statement that you're making, that the Supreme Court said, whatever those guys did was now within their power. I'm yet to see that particular phrase because you know what? What the Supreme Court stated in that document,
right?
They've made an open argument, and that was also vague. They said anything that is outside of X, Y, and Z is ultra. I don't know how to call it. Ultra virus, right?
Virus,
So,
which may be beyond the constitutional limit.
So they didn't point to a particular action, whether from the phonetic block or from the majority block that they run as ultra virus. They didn't say anything of that sort. So now, which part can you rely on that the Supreme Court said those guys' action was ultra virus when the Supreme Court in fact did not mention any particular instances or action of any of the party that they run as ultra virus?
Okay, very good. Yeah, let me answer that question. The question is simple. The Supreme Court never woke up one day and decided to talk about Article 39, Article 33, Article 40 days. There was a complaint brought to them. And they had to rule based on that complaint. And one of the assertions in that complaint, Fonatik Kofa said he was illegally removed. That was Fonatik Kofa's point. Because this guy have inserted himself and said that they had a quorum and they voted. Fonatik Kofa is out. So Fonatik Kofa said, no, at this point, I got to go back to the Supreme Court. The first time Fonatik Kofa wrote the Supreme Court said they should go back to Starako Antique until they get the ruling or the judgment. So let's keep this in context. We can just go out of context with where the original problem started. So the original problem here was these guys illegally removed me and they illegally dissolved all of the committees. They say they're going to form their own committees. So the Supreme Court said, okay, before we give our ruling, let's go back. You'll go back to Starako Antique. And that Starako Antique at the time was Fonatik Kofa is still the speaker. Fonatik Kofa is also every member that have any kind of elected position amongst themselves still maintain that position. So that means Musa Hassan Belete was still there. What the guy name? Jason Sibo was still there. All of them were staying in the position. Marvin Cole, all of them staying in the position. The Supreme Court said, well, we'll get our ruling, then y'all can take it from there. The Supreme Court finally came and said, whatever decision that those men went and made to elect people and dissolve those committees, that they did not do the right thing. That's why the Supreme Court nullified it and voted out of the position. So Kun can pass it right again and say he's Speaker of the House of Representatives of Liberia. That's the first base that must be established. I am not saying the Supreme Court will not take on certain issues, such as who's right or who should go on or who doesn't. But the Supreme Court was very clear. The Supreme Court said, gentlemen, the one I did is not involved. They're not true. So what is issue? What is the argument here on that one? So what is the argument for the Supreme Court didn't do anything? The Supreme Court would never ever come up and say they were wrong, that was wrong. If the Supreme Court were to do that, then I mean the Supreme Court is directly mounting into the house of the legislature's problem. And they can do that constitutionally. But what they can do constitutionally is to interpret anyone that takes an action in the legislature that is wrong. They can interpret that, they can say it. Because it is their responsibility to interpret the Constitution. So they interpret it and say what the better was wrong. And that's what SKTV.
Okay. So let me say that then when you read it, let me say this, Steve. In a confused and illiterate and a gullible society as Liberian society,
Mhm.
If you want to do something, you got to do it for their benefit. You got to do it in a way that they will understand and everybody will agree and move on. But if you leave things vague, if you leave it open to interpretation for people who cannot read or understand, then you are creating more problem than solving problem. That means you have agreed with me among the Supreme Court in fact created more problem. He said Supreme Court will never ever be as straightforward as they can for the Liberian people to understand and agree. And until they can do that, everything they have done will be subjected to interpretation. Everyone will understand in their own way, especially those who are the actors. They know as long as the Supreme Court is not clear, is not emphatic, they will go and interpret it the same way. Everybody will somehow get their supporters, and the confusion will get more and more and will be headed to nowhere. So that's what I'm telling you. The Supreme Court that is clothed with authority to be the highest arbiter in the land. When you have a situation as such, you solve it in a way that will resolve the problem. Okay, let's agree now. Whatever you guys are saying, let's take that at face value. So oneness, is anything going to be solved? Is the majority of black going to stop acting the way they were acting? They're in fact saying the ruling was for them. The rule was, in favor of them. So they are going to move on. They are going to move on to run the country the way they've been running it. And Joseph Boakai government going to work with them. And then for Natikoba will be history. And that is because the Supreme Court's failure to emphatically tell them as to whether or not what they did was wrong or was right. Supreme Court didn't say that. Supreme Court left it open for interpretation. And you have the right to interpret the way you want to interpret it. I have the right to do so. Likewise, everybody else that is interested in this saga. So at the end of the day, Supreme Court left it open and that anybody can do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say. It's up to you. In fact, they said, we don't want to go further from here because we don't want to be seen like we are violating the Constitution by doing what we call, what is called, or what will violate the idea of separation of power. Because we have three branches. So their job is different from the job of the legislature. So they cannot do the job for them. They can't tell them how to do their job. You see? So they left it open. Everybody's going to be confused. And the people who are acting, they will all come and interpret the way they want to interpret it. At the end of the day, the black people will watch the other Boakai and people do whatever they want to do. And then we all can live with that.
But Mr. Kane, when you made a general statement that the Supreme Court left it, no, the Supreme Court did not, or man carry or complain to the court, and the court ruled based on that complaint and say whatever the other people did was illegal, and you say they didn't say anything.
So
wait. Let me ask you the question. So you ask me a question. Let me ask you a multiple question. Who the Supreme Court was talking to when they said the whole statement of ultra viral? Who they were talking to? That Fanatikova elected new speaker? That the minority black elected new speaker? That the minority black dissolved anything? That would be honest. Who the Supreme Court talking to in this context? Let's keep it like that. Simple question.
You're taking this one ultra virus thing and trying to make a doctrine out of it. Ultra virus just means you go beyond your limit. If you're going to legitimize the setting of the majority black, and then you can. That's why I said the Supreme Court even confuse people further. You cannot acknowledge the setting of the majority black and say that the action is illegal. The which action? Oh, you don't know that they're going to do business as usual. Why did they told them to go and handle business by themselves? I told you from day one, you can never get a constitutional interpretation from a political matter. If Fanatic Cover had listened to SKTV, the most he would have done was to lobby to establish quorum. If Fanatic Cover had quorum, he would have changed the dynamic, because whether they refuse to come, he could care less. In the absence of a quorum, Fanatic Cover is useless. He will never get an interpretation from the Constitution because it's a political matter, and there are limitations to the Supreme Court. They cannot interpret law that does not exist. That's why the Supreme Court told you the same Article 33 and 49 you keep quoting is vague, is open-ended, and that's why the guys are taking advantage of. So you can say, oh, they ultra vires. At the end of the day, what are the signals you are saying to the typical Liberian person that you're going to acknowledge them? That's why they are telling you tomorrow they're beginning the process of the budget, because they know at the end of the day the executive will do badly with them. They could care less. Fanatikova can keep going to the Supreme Court for as long as he wants to. He will never get a solution from the Supreme Court, and that's why we are back to square one. And it will be like this until they can find a solution.
Yeah, but you not answer my question.
Mom,
You're not answering the question. I asked you one question. You're talking different thing. Mom refusing to answer.
Yesterday, I told you there are things that can be appropriate, but it doesn't mean that they are
Who
unconstitutional.
they talking to in a situation?
But we get an entire document. Why you don't want to refer it? Why you don't read a sentence that led to that?
More we want to know. More we want to know.
Okay, let me answer your question.
You let more answer for it. Everybody got to.
When they use the word ultra vires, they're talking about the majority group. We all know that. It's so easy for anyone to understand.
Okay, acknowledge something. The rest of body, acknowledge something. You will get a price today for acknowledging. Thank you. You see that the problem of Mom will not live long. See, no, we're working with Mom now. Mr. Kale, what's
they're talking to the both party. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why they're talking to the both party. That's why they talk about the two setting. Go and read again. You talk about S, Y, and Z setting. You don't have the quorum, even though you are the legal authority, but you don't have a quorum, and you have the right to compare them, but you have no legal remedy as to how you're going to compare them to compliance. Equally so, and went to the other one, the other people who are saying, whether they are or majority or minority, but without the speaker, and they want to tell you, say, according to the law, Article X, Y, and Z, the speaker is the presiding, and if the speaker is absent, then the deputy speaker, right? They move on. The same Supreme Court said, they move on and they said, if anything that is done outside of that, of that explanation that they did, they say that's ultra vires. So that they left it open.
No.
So at the end of the day, the Richard Cohen block can argue and say that since the Supreme Court is saying that the speaker is the presiding, and in his absence is the deputy speaker, then they can argue that the deputy speaker presided when in fact the Supreme Court, when in fact the speaker was not present. They said they have had quorum. They have had quorum numerous occasions that the speaker was not present. So in that event, for them, since the Supreme Court is saying that the speaker is not present, the deputy speaker can act as the presiding. They said that's what they did.
Present in what context?
No, that's not it is wrong.
I'm finding hard to understand what I'm really finding hard to.
You're not understanding because you have a pre-mindset.
No.
You are thinking in one dimensional way. You're thinking that.
No.
I want to ask Steve a question.
I'm open-minded to this whole discussion, but I will not be straight because
Steve, can I ask you a question?
It's not all political. There are some reasonings here that we can reason together.
That's the thing. So
they're placing in the particular communication.
Majority of you think that CDC was the Unity Party business. They don't want
the Unity Party, so I don't have no stake in this.
Steve, can I ask you a question? Ali, you asked me a question. I took a side. I answered my question, right?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
The Constitution laid the fundamental premise about majority and minority and what it takes to conduct a quorum.
Yes, sir.
Fanatikova still remains the speaker. There are no legal remedies to force his colleague, the absentee lawmaker, to come back. Yes. If Fanatikova does based on the habit of Liberian people, it means he's illegal. Do you know that also? Because he cannot meet quorum. The question I want to ask here.
And that's why I agree with you. Let me agree with you on that statement. And that's why if you notice Fanatikova's move, according to the Constitution, it also says that what Fanatikova can do, they can go there in a joint session for compel. So every time they've gone, they've adjoined. They've not conducted business. So let's be clear on that.
But that's what I'm telling you. Because he cannot conduct quorum,
Right.
So it means if you was to take decision in the absence of the majority black, that decision will be illegal as well. That is still ultra virus.
But he
So
hasn't
it
taken any decision.
Well, he won't be able to. That's why Speaker resigns.
Wait, because he wants to take
No, but
he has not taken any decision.
now the man haven't taken any decision.
The man
He hasn't taken position because he cannot take any position without a forum.
Okay, so then now the people who took decision, don't you think that the ultra virus is applicable to them?
Because the people who take the decision, they do not have the number to remove the speaker, but they have the number to conduct business. That's what gives them the authority.
You agree with me that they are illegal? That's why the Supreme Court said they acted illegally.
Okay, that's why they told you now they will go and act legally, but they will still do the same thing that they've been doing. Then the Supreme Court will come and clear what they are doing illegally.
What you are saying is
but why you think they're going to begin the budget process if they were illegal?
Yeah, it's illegal.
You believe when they take on the budget it will be illegal, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll see. I didn't know that. You are telling me the group that have the number to conduct quorum and do business when they take on the budget, you telling me that will be illegal?
The Constitution says you have to have the speaker.
So that money
you gotta have the speaker.
The speaker is not
the speaker is an embattled speaker, and the same law told you that the deputy can preside in the absence of the speaker.
There is nothing such in the Constitution as embattled speaker. If you prove it to me, I will not count the show again. That's
what you call
the speaker is not speaker. Because he has not been
to resign.
Then why he cannot preside? If he stays speaker, why he cannot preside?
So, Mark, are you using the word in battle? Are you using the word in battle to do illegal things? Is that what you?
So why is illegal? Why you call illegal things?
The Constitution mandate of it. If they do any business without the speaker, it's illegal. The speaker is
that's why they got a deputy speaker on that side. Who is also number 2.
The speaker is in the country. He's in the vicinity.
Okay. All right.
We can make everything political. So you want to tell me somebody wake up one day and say they want Joseph Boakai to be president? Then they say, "Oh, that political team." Then they get in the street. You don't want to do that.
Yes, 2 presidents. Yes, people can do that. What are you talking about? People can do that. People can get up today and say, you know what? We're not satisfied with Joseph Boakai the way he's proceeding. We don't want him. And people can go in the street. The majority, the president was supposed to resign. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and that, like I said,
and that's legal.
Like I said, that's something I agree with.
And when the men resign, then what's going to happen?
And then it's up to the people.
No. What Steve is saying, that means we'll be having 2 presidents or what?
That's
what CDC want. Let it go and have another problem.
But that's not what's supposed to be happening in the country, and that's what we are trying to avoid.
Yeah, but that's why speakers usually resign. That's why all around the world speakers resign. But then become irrelevant.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. It's a man's
then he can be there. It's his right to be there and become irrelevant. The only thing that makes him to be a speaker that's separating from a colleague are all being stripped away from him. Then he can stay there for as long as he wants, while the other people keep doing business.
So Mark, so let's say from now to Monday, because mind you, there are other lawmakers who've been waiting for this day to come, especially yesterday, as to what's going to happen from the Supreme Court. So before Monday, maybe there'll be a lot of changes. You don't know.
What are you talking about? Did you read a response from the majority black and how they interpreted the rulings from the Supreme Court and what they are going to do moving forward?
Everybody have the right. Everybody have the right to interpret, Monk.
No, it's not about interpreting. It's about what they are going to do.
Okay, Mom.
Yes.
You see what people just said? Everybody got a right to interpret. That means the Supreme Court is irrelevant. If everybody got the right to interpret, the Supreme Court is going to be the highest person in the land to interpret, and you leaving everybody to interpret the way they want to interpret. That means the Supreme Court is useless.
And that's the chaos part. Maybe that's the chaotic part of about the entire ruling, right? I will one way and the other. I agree with you and Monk. Maybe when it comes to maybe the interpretation, but when it comes to the law part of it, right? We expect the majority of bloc to do the rightful thing. Sekou, at least all of the holding and pulling will not carry Liberia anyway. So for us,
I want to ask you, Steve. Okay, let's agree now. I don't know whether Steve is listening, but
Yes,
if he's
listening.
listening, if he's
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening, Mr. Kane.
Okay, the question to the both of you.
Mm.
Let's agree now. The Supreme Court said what this garden did was illegal, and then the Supreme Court, in her wisdom, they could not emphatically say what you did is illegal, because people say the Supreme Court never do that. Okay, but yet letting everybody go to your goal and do whatever you want to do because you don't know what to do. Now us to tell you what to do. And they're going by now, they're going to do what they've been doing. And at the end of the day, they will do whatever they want to do. The government of Joseph Numa Boakai, the executive, is going to work with them. And they will start to do the business, as they call it, for the Liberian people. And then, for nothing go far, we have no quorum. He will eventually resign. And then what is the essence of the law that you guys are talking about? If there's nobody to directly interpret the law, and there's nobody to enforce the law, because if the Supreme Court order, right? Look at what's supposed to happen. If the Supreme Court says something and then it says so order, that order should be enforced by the executive, because the Supreme Court has no enforcement power.
No.
So if the Supreme Court gave the order and says so order by the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, the executive should enforce that order by the Supreme Court. If the executive doesn't, and the executive go and start working with the majority bloc, whose action that you guys saying that the Supreme Court was illegal? So where is the importance of the Supreme Court in this case? If at all, the Supreme Court was there to be the final arbiters, to be the only, the highest interpreter of our laws in the country, and they could not do it. They left it with everybody. They did it in a way that is open-ended. Anybody can interpret the way you want to interpret it. But at the end of the day, those who are supposed to enforce the Supreme Court's decision work with those who are saying that they are breaking the law. Then what is the importance of the Supreme Court? What is the importance of the law in the country?
Okay, so still before you go, let me just come in quickly. So, second to that, I think the executive headed by the experienced President Jota Yimam Buakai, who won an order being government for more than 42 years plus. I think this is about time that he used his wisdom, because like you are saying, you're right. Because if the executive quote side with the majority bloc, mind you, something serious may happen. Maybe the people may come in the street. Maybe there may be chaos.
Nothing will happen, man.
No, Steve, you can't predict.
Nothing will happen. Last year.
No, sorry, Segu, you can't predict. You never tell. So that just said nothing will happen. Then at the end of the day tomorrow, when things go maybe out of hand, then we say, oh, if we are new or something. No. So for me, I think it's about time that the executive come out and speak.
So if things go out of hand, then who's responsible for that? They're not just a bad guy.
But I'm saying.
So what do you care?
No, I care for Liberia.
So
and I care for Liberians.
Because they know whatever they do, violate the law, respect the law, do what is right, do what is wrong, nothing will happen. So that's what they do, whatever they are doing. So I don't think the Supreme Court did the Liberian people justice. They should have been the one to clarify so that Liberian people can be motivated to say, you know what, the president got to decide, got to enforce whatever decision taken by the Supreme Court. If they refuse to, then Liberian people will have reason to go on the street. But what are they going on the street to say?
So let me answer the question. I think the question Mr. Kane asked is a very interesting question. I don't want to take it from a political lens. I want to take it from a realistic lens. I still maintain that the Supreme Court play her part, and I still maintain that the Supreme Court in executive and legislative matters will not just come up flat right, especially legislative matters, and say they want right, they want wrong. The Supreme Court, from what it said in the ruling, they said those guys were wrong for electing a speaker. We unconstitutionally remove somebody back from somebody. Yeah, somebody unconstitutionally, some group of people try to remove the speaker, and also they also try to take away leadership from other people, and it's unconstitutional. But to your exact question, Mr. Kane, I'll wait to see if the executive, based on the ruling, would still work with the majority black. I understand that there has been precedences where the laws have been disrespected. The Supreme Court of Liberia have been disrespected by individuals, by government entities, and by other people. This is not mutually exclusive to the Joseph Human Boakai-led administration. Few days ago, they were waiting on a quote-unquote Supreme Court, but the same Supreme Court ruled that they should not take people out of the tenure position. When they did that. And I agree with Mr. Kane that nothing happened, nothing came from it. But this is what I want to tell Mr. Kane and the Liberian people. That there are some places you reach in life, some things got to start. And maybe it will start with the Joseph Boakai government. Like I said, maybe. I will say this openly. If Joseph Human Boakai administration works with the majority black and makes the ruling of the Supreme Court, then members of the minority black are the right to galvanize and do whatever they want to do. They let the country be outlawed.
They can't do it. They can't do anything.
Happen. They can do that. What do you mean they can do that?
They will arrest them and lock them up.
Which law? The same law you say the other person should violate. What are you talking about, Mr. Kane?
I'm telling you, Joseph Boakai is the president. They have the executive, they have the police, they have the military. Anybody do anything?
Anyway, there's something else.
Steve, forget about Mr. Kane. Anyway,
that's certain thing I want to show you. I will leave it as that. I will leave it as that. I'm not here to say certain things. I will leave it as that.
People are not doing anything.
Go try it. Sometimes you can tell somebody, say, you can tell people in the Pakana, they can refuse to go and bust it. So let us go there, let us see.
So Steve, in a same ruling, when you go on our page or when you go to the second page of that ruling, you will also see there are a lot of things that they said that I want for more, so that we can go by ruling bit by bit and see exactly as to where on the problem.
We keep going in cycles. Why we go by
we said that thing. We said that thing yesterday. I don't think it will be necessary.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah. Let us figure out a minority group keep wasting their time. And we'll
this is political and the court did not rule. I'm saying, what I say here, the court ruled that what it did was illegal. The majority black monk agreed.
The court rule.
It was illegal and unconstitutional.
Yeah, but you didn't see the part. You want to take the court statement on the simple word that you use, and you think that
the court didn't say anything. Say something though.
That's why the court told you that it's in totality. You shouldn't do a sequester. That the English they use in that document, or sequester means you cannot take partial information. What led to that? What came to that ruling, and what would be the way forward? We went to the court because of we went to the court because of a political statement that couldn't be settled, and we went to the court, and the court even exacerbated the situation by leaving it open-ended. That's why I told you from day one, this speaker, I will bet any day of the week, at the end of the day, he will either resign, because that's what speaker. Let me tell you something. In legislative matter, it's a numbers game. That's why they get mad at the court of weight. The first job of a speaker every day he wakes up from bed is to make sure that his caucus is in check. Because when you get a whip will be the one who will be the communication director between you and your colleague. They're the one who will know how many people you got supporting you. When it comes to important legislation, they will know if you got number to pass a bill. That's the job of a whip. Their speaker, once he ends up losing the support of his colleague and he cannot conduct quorum, whether he go to the Supreme Court, whether there are other courts beyond the Supreme Court, he will never get a constitutional redress from a political matter. That's why I told you from day one. And we are back to the same old point. The only way to solve this problem, you got two options. Number one, you can call for a constitutional amendment to give you an emphatic ruling or a particular trajectory how to move forward in the Constitution when it comes to compelling your colleagues to come back to work. The second thing you can do, go back to the House standing orders and rule and make some changes as to the precedent you will set moving forward. You don't go to the Supreme Court for that. It's not going to work because they are limited into the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court gave you two options. First of all, we don't have the constitutional authority, and second of all, you don't even have rule on your books in the House that will even compel your colleagues to come back to work. That's by the side of the document also. Or you didn't see that?
I agree. What I'm saying, at the end of the day, I think Sekou sum it up in your last
The only thing I would say to you, Mark to you, and then I say, you shouldn't be, or maybe calling the man to resign. No, that the man enjoy himself. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, let him be there. I mean, you can enjoy you want.
So, Mark, I think Sekou summed this up in a nutshell. That Joseph Boakai government here. If Joseph Boakai want his government to be noisy like that, and he want to be removed from power, let him fool around. Let him continue to fool around. Let him continue to fool around. It's simple. That means there is no law.
You're trying to say
there is no law. There is no order and nothing. So that means everything will be chaotic because the other people that do they have the right to come out the next day. They have the right to come out the next day and say, "Listen, we not want fanatic over, or we not want whoever to bring in." Then we go into another read my role. And they have the right to say they don't want Joseph Boakai to be president. Then it's another read my role. So either way we put it, let's say you say,
all right,
no problem here.
Let me tell you something. I know some supporters are frustrated, to see me taking a certain position, and that's their right. But I don't think they're actually getting the information here. I am not supporting Joseph Boakai government or the renegade group for whatever they are doing. But I'm telling you two things. Number one, the Liberian people, they will do nothing, whether or not their right is being violated. Whether or not the law is being broken, they will do absolutely nothing. Secondly, the Supreme Court ruling is only important if it can be enforced.
Yeah.
We are accustomed to seeing the Supreme Court rule and nobody cares about the hell the Supreme Court is all about, and they will move on. The same Supreme Court will move on like nothing happened.
Yep.
I'm telling you, and I would never change this. I'm the Liberian that I know, unless something extraordinary happened. Liberian that I know of today, Joseph Boakai government will do whatever they want, and nothing will happen. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. And I can tell you 100%, all the ones that can make big mouth on social media or here and there, let me tell you, if anybody try to act funny, they will arrest you. You will go to jail. People will go to jail. The rest of people will run away. Few weeks later, they will beg to free them, and then everything will be over with. Joseph Boakai will continue with their government. Let me tell you something. George Weah was in power. George Weah was the president. But George Weah and the CDC caved in to the fear and the threat from the Unity Party. George Weah even rushed to concede before even the election results were announced. So now Unity Party is in power. They have the police, they have the military, they have everything. George Weah had everything. George Weah was afraid of them. CDC was afraid of them. Now they're in power. They got everything that George Weah and CDC will go and stand there. Nothing gonna happen. Absolutely nothing. If anybody try anything funny, they will arrest you. The rest of them will run away. The balance will come tomorrow and say, we're not part of it. They put them care money to go do it. Nothing gonna happen. That's Labrador for you.
I agree. Well, thank you, Mr. Kane. Thanks for that perspective. I think we can move on forward to ask this big question. What next for the Liberian people? Mark, what would you say? Is it going to be business as usual, or are we back to our routine? Mr. Kane, the feedback coming from you.
Yeah, I think you're coming from Sickle. You got maybe some static noise, maybe from radio or something.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
For me, it will be business as usual. I don't expect anything to change. There will never be an end to this impasse because I know it's political. It will end up politically. And that's one of the things I keep telling people. I say the day you start questioning things that you learn, that's the day you will start learning. The fact of the matter is the very same rules or procedure that the judiciary exercise about the separation of power and their limit. That's the same game the executive will play. That's why I keep telling people the whole myth that we're told there are three equal branches of government is a lie. The president got limited power, even though the executive is the law enforcement arm of the government. When it comes to lawmaking on the constitution, he has limited power. The only people that are given unchecked power in the three branches of government that the lawmakers because they are a body. So I tell you, at the end of the day, once it's about legislative matter, once it's about things like the budget, the executive will always do business with the people that have the numbers to do the Liberian people business. And they will not be in violation of the constitution. So, in as much as you have this thing between the speaker, the majority group, and the minority group, no, Joseph Baga is not dumb. Joseph Baga will do business with the majority group to get his agenda going because he knows he will say, okay, if the judiciary and the Supreme Court can exercise separation of power, I don't want to get involved in legislative matter. I can only do business with people that have the required number by the Constitution to conduct business. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So we are still to square one, and the speaker can have a gavel in his hand. He can be speaker all he wants. At the end of the day, the majority black will be the one conducting business on behalf of the republic. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. I read a post from or saying from Professor Flo Lumumba. He was in Africa. He was in Liberia not too long ago. This is what he said in one of his posts, or one of his saying. He quote, "In Japan, a corrupt person kills himself. In China, they will kill him. In Europe, they will jail him. In Africa, the corrupt person will present himself for election." And that's true. Listen, in as much that I will stand for the rule of law, on the side of the rule of law and what is right, whether the government chooses to enforce it or not, I want to say, we can say all we want here about the rule of law and people doing the right thing. The Liberian people themselves are not ready. They're always looking for a savior. Can you imagine? We're speaking now, they're looking for somebody who will be hero in the country to replace Prince Johnson. That's slave mentality. What did Prince Johnson do for you? That you're looking for somebody to come and replace him so that you can put your trust in that person to come and use your. This is the mindset we're in. So let's say I agree with that 100%. Maybe unless something changes drastically, that Liberian will wake up and rise up. Until then, this cycle will continue in Liberia because the people themselves are not seeing. Can you imagine yesterday clapping young people, able-bodied men, clapping beyond Samuel Koga, that he able chairman. Then I saw the other group then dancing to fanatic over horse. Issues that are supposed to come up together on. They are divided on it. They take sides. So, I mean, we can just say our own. The day the Liberian people ready, their foolishness will not be happening. They manage to be stealing from you. Then you're clapping behind them. You're dancing, you're sweating. You're providing security for them. But when somebody steal one color, all of you join that person, beat the person. Sometimes you will kill them before police can even arrive there. When somebody steal $10, $5, somebody steal. I'm not encouraging stealing. The people who are stealing millions of dollars from you, you're protecting them. Joseph Baga passing around yesterday say he's going to Markibi to go look at cassava farm. I told you Joseph Baga is bold. Joseph Baga bold. He ain't got nothing going on. The man said for life. You said to the man for life. Take the man from on loan. Bring him to be the loan now. You see what I'm saying? So the man said for life. So the man can just go anywhere. He get nothing to do. He said the other cassava farm. He said the delegate name go there. the other place. So I mean,
Steve,
Steve. Yes, Mr.
Yeah, let me say something to you and the Liberian people. You know, sometimes when I speak, very few people can really, you know, listen and analyze what I can say. I don't just talk loosely. I talk based on precedents. I talk based on facts. I talk based on experience. Liberian people, if Liberian people were not outraged for the fact that Joseph Boakai was on loan, but then Joseph Boakai presented an asset that proves that Joseph Boakai is a millionaire. If they were not outraged to even find out how did that happen. And the people were not outraged for the fact that Joe Weah said we left 41 million there. Joseph Boakai said 19 million. And Joseph Boakai lied to the Liberian people even in the very first nation address. If they were not outraged about that, the financial cover being we made them to go out. If the Liberian people didn't care about this, the labor minister saying that they mismanaged 22 million of the Liberian people money, the financial cover being we made them to go out. A Liberian people were not outraged for the fact that Joseph Boakai government lied to the people, brought all outdated bosses from Ghana and lied to the Liberian people, say they went and secured bosses for Liberian people. They celebrated that. And they were not outraged for the fact that, like Joseph Boakai said, somebody gave him 31 million worth of equipment on gentleman agreement in the country with nothing, no concession, nothing whatsoever, and kept it in the barrack of our military on gentleman agreement. They're not outraged about that. That financial government they'll be outraged to come out and say something. Let me tell you something, Steve. I've told you this before, and I will repeat it in public. If you think Liberian people are serious-minded people, if you think the Liberian public, the population, if you take this seriously, then you are wasting your time. If you expect them to do anything in the name of the law or for the respect of the rule of law, you are wasting your time. The country are going to be divided. United Party people and Joseph Boakai supporters, by the time you hear protests from CDC or other people, they will counter protest. Government will come in. They will take SAR. They will beat on CDC and other people who are now with Joseph Boakai group, and they will submit. They will go home. They will arrest few of them. The rest of them will go free. Don't want them later on. End of the story. Joseph Boakai, they will run Liberia the way they want to run it until Liberian people can get ready to remove Joseph Boakai, either through election or through popular uprising. Liberia will remain the way it is right now. End of story.
Thank you. Well, as we speak currently, like you said, Joseph Boakai Jackie was wearing funny uniform. The Effort Baptist Church, the deacon, all the deacon and the president, and the look. This is a useless venture we are on, my people. No, when I think about it, so they are yeah. You see, Joe Boy Wayne can't go again. Yeah, man, and they said they're going to ever Baptist Church. And you see, anyway, well, maybe I think we'll open the line early today unless somebody else. Because
yeah, so
Chairman, Yato said he's been calling you guys. I don't know why they're picking up.
Steve.
Yes, so quickly before we do that, let me, Sekou said something.
I think he called me from WhatsApp or so. I saw the
message. Tell his number again. Yeah, he wanted to chime in before we get to the line.
Yeah, while I was talking.
So, Steve, quickly, and Sekou said something, especially pertaining to the rule of law, the respect for the rule of law in this country. And in fact, he even talk about former President what happened and during the election time and so forth, and he had to turn over power and so forth because of fear and so forth. Look, I think what Sekou is saying is making 100% sense, and Liberians have to look into all of these things because, mind you, we want to have a free country where people will be free or they'll be free to move about and to associate and to have things done. Not a country where we'll be having just few group of people, maybe threatening people back to back. Because man, you still hear myself. We receive a lot of threat messages every day. But because you on our side or you people on our side, I'm here. But when you come here to talk for Liberia, things affecting this country, people say like you are anti-Buakai or you not like Buakai. It's just about you not like the government. You not like the government. So they start to create that kind of more hate for you. And it's bad. So I think for me, I take serious consideration on what Sekou just said about our country system, especially when it comes to the rule of law and the police and the security. Because Sekou or Steve, mind you, once upon a time, the former chief of staff, he was saying, the people said I should overthrow. And now he's not there. He's already into the government. The same government people, the same opposition people are throwing into overthrow.
And guess what? The same chief of staff, Prince Johnson, that you talk about, he told the brother who thing and he dead.
He dead right now.
Foolishness that told that brother and just on the doing right now, he dead.
So what's someone saying for me? I think this thing that Liberian will be taking serious consideration of, because if care is not taken, we may likely have a country where you will not even be able to talk freely or even work freely because people will start threatening you. And that's the thing, Steve. So let's go ahead if you want me to take
before you take calls, normally we try not to signal anybody on the show. We try not to. We've tried our best. Even some of you who were black, we normally release you or whatever it is. But I want to say this: I don't know if that man or that woman, I don't know if the person's disguised or they're hiding themselves. Say Gonkano or whatever your name is. You're in a constant habit of coming here and threatening people. I'll say this.
I don't know why he's on the pointing on the show.
One more threat from you, whether you call yourself man or woman. I challenge you.
And these are
people tolerated you.
What they do, they just tack you into so many posts.
We have tolerated you on this platform. Mm-hmm. We have accepted the disrespectful thing that you've said here. But I want to say this to you: if you threaten anybody on the platform, whether you will act on your threats or not, one more threatening word from you, you will never ever, unless you come out with another foolish name and we'll ban you again, you will be banned here permanently. We want to be open, but we don't tolerate that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. You have the right to make the case for the government. You can disagree with anybody here. You can disagree. There are many days you've disagreed with us. You've attacked Monk. You've attacked me. You've attacked Sekou. You've attacked Melbourne. We have no problem with it. But do not, I'm saying it to you, please do not threaten anybody on the show. Don't do that. People come here, let them be free to express themselves. They disagree, let them disagree. So you need to stop. You need to stop. This is your last one. You will never be one again. If you think this is a joke, try and see. Try it, let's see. Please take calls. Melbourne, please help us with some calls. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
So I thought you said you're calling the chairman, or you didn't get him, right?
I'm here on WhatsApp and on the regular number.
Oh, okay. But then go ahead.
Maybe say part of the brigade general or maybe the brigade team that are always attacking people just for talking about Liberia. So 077-285-961. That's the number for you to call and be part of the SKTV show this evening. Today is Saturday, the Saturday edition of the SKTV show. So again, the number to call is 077-285-961. Please, 1 minute per call. When you are given opportunity to. Okay, so let me go to our international number because Emmanuel Zaza. Yeah, my brother, good evening. Yeah, go ahead.
To the SKTV family, good evening. So, can you hear me?
Yes, Emmanuel, go ahead. We're listening to you.
Okay, thank you. So, I listened to the conversation and I listened to what Liberians are saying. It made me feel a little bit bad that thing that is written in plain English is hard to understand. The Supreme Court said the Constitution did not define or how minority can compare majority. So we're not going to speak to that. But what we know is that whether you are minority or you're majority, your functions are under legal when it is presided over by the Speaker, according to Article 49. Then at the end of everything, they say anything that is not done as prescribed by Article 49, it is beyond the legal power. That's what some people just said. So if you acted without the Speaker presiding, without the Speaker using himself, without the Speaker delegating his authority to the Deputy Speaker, anything you do outside of that is beyond your legal power. If that's so hard to understand, then I brought that along with the book. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, my brother. So keep a calls coming to 0777 285 961 to this caller. Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, my brother. Go ahead, your name and from where you join us.
I feel something calling for Ambassador.
Okay, go ahead from Grand Bassa.
Yeah, for Ambassador. But what I just want to say to all the Liberian people, that just go on whatever for us years for 50% of the output that in the power there. Majority is not of the government. Most of them from different parties and in many standards. So anything the people want to bigger, that just go. So that bigger to pray for the thing that happened today. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Today's caller, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is David King, and I do join you tonight from Pakistan, Queensland.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, you see, let me say that. You see, people will always stay tuned in America and think that like we were yesterday, 1993 or 2000 is the kind of like where we have to be. No, they're far from the truth. If somebody will see that this that will misuse Liberia, and he said, look, I challenge Joseph Walker. The day we get ready for him.
President Joseph Walker. Keep a calls coming 0777 285 961. That's the number for you to call to be part of the show. Let me see quickly. Today's caller, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I want to thank the panelists. I want to thank Steve. I want to thank the President Monk and Kanin. But I think I'd like to say thumbs up to Monk this evening. Yesterday, fortunately, on phone talk, one of the lawyer, Councilor Serena Stifor, was very clear. You can go to the recording currently as you speak. He said they lost the case. And he was very clear. He made a lot of logic. Therefore, let me say this to you.
Hello. He said, he's saying that he's part of Fonati lawyer. No. According to the release, according to that release, his name is not on that release. So,
just go to the recording and listen to him. He named the full
all right, so just go ahead. Go ahead, Chief.
Remember, the first thing I want you to understand, everything Fonati asked the court for, he didn't get it. Fonati first asked the court for, he prayed for a prohibition to stop. What is a prohibition to stop the majority? The court declined.
How?
The last prayer he prayed was for Rick Madamus. What is a Madamus? To compare the majority, the court didn't go into it. In fact, if you look at the court technically, if you look at the Supreme Court, they didn't mention the new speaker. They always say presider. Because there could be a time in the whole right against the speaker. So, what Fonati asked the court for, a real prohibition to stop the majority.
So what's your own understanding in the entire thing? That's what we just want you to tell us as a person or Liberian. That's all.
Okay. My reading in it, to be very clear to you, Fonati is limited. He doesn't have the...
All right, thank you. Today's caller, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my dear, go ahead.
Let me say good evening to Excellency President Bogai. First of all, let me say good evening to your panelists. Some of the people from Broadway, this is Sunday. Let me condemn any Liberian or any human being who will come to the show and want to attack you guys personally on social media because we say democracy and not just about going to the pool and go vote. We should have our space of freedom of speech. So with this, I want to condemn anybody, but I want to respectfully disagree with you. Joseph Walker had allowed Liberia to go free when it comes to freedom of speech. People are not being attacked. So I just heard you, Jenna, you were saying about people are being attacked.
No. I didn't say that people are being attacked. I said based on what Sekou just said during the election. I just said during the election, people was attacked and nothing happened.
Okay. If it says that, I want to say sorry to sorry. I mean, the issue of Fulani Kofa, right? Like somebody just said, I don't think other side won a case because there is no definite no article. I mean, in the constitution or the rule that says Majority should be compared and go say Fulani Kofa, and there is no definite article that say. I mean, there is Fulani Kofa can compare Majority to consider honor him. So the issue about the thing, so when I elected as speaker, so neither you were born as speaker of the family. You have to resign and have the country free because these are the people who are the expert over here and Ryan has put in and they are going against for cause. Let me also admit that in the follow that he budget over from 2 million and 4 million. That's a crime. We should understand that.
All right, thank you. Very easy. So let's go. Good evening.
Good evening,
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for the fascinating discussion. I'm Peter Ricardo. I come honor the street in West Johnsonville. Firstly, I think you need to tell your men to take
Hello, and I'm amending. That's how you address people.
President Moore and that of Steve to apologize to the public for deceiving the public because they told us that the Supreme Court was going to rule in favor of the so-called majority bloc. And now the ruling is contrary. They want to defend. Let me tell you, President Moore, Liberia, even the children in the K2, they are really analyzing the Supreme Court ruling that is in favor of Fonati Kofor and his bloc. So there's nothing you can do. So if you sit over there and feel that Fonati Kofor is going to resign, forget it. Your government is going to power. They are the one that they are running the country in this way.
All right, thank you so much. Today's call a good evening.
Since the saga, you notice that the majority have never hold the court. It's always Fonati who win the court. Have you observed it?
Chief.
Have you observed?
Hello. So is it a wrong thing to go to court?
It's not wrong thing.
So listen now. Yes. The court said, hello, man. All right. So you will be calling back to be making confusion. Hello, today's caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm okay. Go ahead, my brother.
My name is Tomimo, so I come from
Go ahead.
The first I want to say is that let your panelists forget about Liberia because they always say like the Liberian people, so they are not Liberians. Let them forget about Liberia. Thing number two is that Poranti is no longer speaker.
Why?
He's no longer speaker.
Why you say so?
The reason is that the majority bloc has quorum, which it doesn't have.
Why they went to court? They went to court and the court just come up with their own release. So what you say? What your own understanding with the court ruling?
That's what I'm telling you.
So what your understanding about the court ruling? Who?
The majority bloc will conduct business.
So let me go to our Oma. Yeah. Good evening, though. My warranty. Go ahead, my dear. Go ahead. No, big you.
But at least said that SKTV, I think educating people and explaining to people getting there and get money. But the other people that got it, they let they did out to see the country. And what the people in our body that explaining the things, we stay in that lawyer, that boy, that boy.
I like that.
Supreme Court today. So mono, they will be able to defend God and see what they defend. Now they see when they see that Francisco will resign. Francisco will resign. He will resign. That means they don't resign. Francisco will resign. If Francisco made wrong, the people will get Francisco that they resign. You can people work. But according to one, then hearing over the different platform, they say Francisco will go back, and they will go back and go to the honorable team. For what that Francisco will resign and put the resolution before you will, I know you will improve it, I know you will put that one back. So for them to go through a case, they want it, so they don't want to do it. They want to bring problem in the country here. We tired, we don't want anyone to go in.
And like your children, so you gotta call them. They are all your children, though. The children we have voted for, Mama. So you call them. So let's call up. Good evening. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for the show.
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Thank you for all your finances. For your vision. But what I want to tell you, I'm a layman.
I'm not getting you the layman. Man, that's the kind of thing I want to hear from most of you today. You won't understand. Yeah, go ahead, but your line breaking. Yes, go ahead.
I say the speaker that the started now in the way is just it's an empty title. The title only, but it's not functional.
Okay.
It will not be speaker. What I'm saying from there is that me, I want to find the cover to be speaker. But the people that are elected in the speaker, the majority don't want it. And
so what's your take from the court ruling? I can say the court, the Supreme Court, when you get a case.
They not make a decision. The court can go back so that's it. And that is when you're going to interfere with their friend. The Supreme Court do it, that limit. The court got a whole law to the constitution.
All right, thank you so much. So let's call a good evening. Hey, Liberian. Yeah, the country interesting you. Go ahead, my brother.
This is something and I do call you for disrespect to this start for the story. I've been listening to two of the panelists on the show, and I want to respectfully disagree with them.
Okay.
They shouldn't be saying the Liberian people got nothing to do with that. They do nothing. They are entitled what they are using, because if the Liberian people start to go in the street to do or to borrow and do other things, they will be the same people that will say, oh, they don't get time, they don't know why they are offered. So I think as they are panelists, they will share education and to tell the people that they don't know because they are doing wrong.
But some of your brothers and sisters also call in and saying that other people are right.
What makes them right? Some people on that level, the legislature, they are lawmakers. For me, I understand they are lawmakers, but they are not law interpreters. They make law that they don't interpret law, because they make law that law are being interpreted by the judicial and the idea was going up and down the law. So we will be going in the law community and be respecting them now.
Well, thank you so much. Let me go to the international line and take Ben from there. Ben on the line. Ben, good evening.
Hey, what's the neighbor? Thanks for having me. I did not see the court paper. I didn't see anything. But I was asking one question. Did they say anybody did anything illegal on that paper? Did they say anybody did anything illegal?
Well, according to the interpreter, my brother, I'm not a lawyer, but people are saying that most of the words that I place there, they're saying that the people who had their new speaker, and I think that's right, according to their own interpretation, they're saying that I think that's right. So yeah.
So that what they use that big word.
Thank you. Good.
So if that word really means that whatever they did was illegal, it means that if the government works with that group, means that the government is doing things illegally. And I think this is what the likes of Yaga Koluba and other guys were waiting for. Once they say one group will do something illegal and you do something with them as a government which will be illegal, that means everybody can do everything in the country illegally too. And you would not be held responsible, because it means that when you want to do something wrong in Liberia, just say it is political, then you do it wrong. Because in politics,
the Supreme Court do not have no jurisdiction, or you just do it in the name of politics. When you go to the market, you want to go steal, say, I am stealing for the market woman because this is politics that you steal for her. The Supreme Court asks you to say, please, this is politics.
No, thank you so much. Don't deport me from anywhere. Don't keep me in this country. Hello, to this caller. Yeah, Charles Cooper, go ahead, my brother. Good evening.
Good evening, neighbor.
What's your own layman understanding with the Supreme Court?
Neighbor, I don't even need to be a lawyer to understand what the Supreme Court said.
Okay.
We have said it before on our personal pages, and we stand by what we have said. Politics, the guardians of politics is the rule of law. If there is no rule of law, there is no politics. It's because of the rule of law that we offer in letting our leaders be our politicians. Doing a lawyer like lawyer, we never had that kind of scenario. Everybody was taking law into their own hand. So the Supreme Court is clear. The Supreme Court simply said first day, why it's not written, we cannot interpret why it's not written. And that is true. Another thing the Supreme Court said, you guys acted over plus. So you guys need to go back and do it the right way because you guys did not do it the right way. So you need to go back. But you see, maybe when people comes to the debate with sinister motive and protecting their side, they run up in. And they run up in, they have become united party and easy thing. So people are now putting the law aside. So the Supreme Court simply said, one, when you don't live on the United States, the government tells you you are knowing better. So the Supreme Court simply told the quote-unquote, you guys are knowing better. We cannot tell you why you're supposed to know. We cannot teach you now because you can't teach it on your trip.
Okay.
You know that
Liberians are just so interesting. Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, go ahead. Good evening.
My name is Sherry, and I'm Sherry. I'm Sherry. I joined with the Sherry team. We're going to respectively.
Go ahead, Sharif.
All right, let me appreciate you guys for the topic of the discussion. Let me say hi to the panelists. You see, maybe it's very clear. You don't need to be a lawyer before you understand the ruling of the Supreme Court. All right? Even a layman, the woman that is selling better but can understand the position of the Supreme Court. Okay. If you do something, it's not legal, and you go to a court and they tell you that yes, you say that you don't need this man, but the process in which you guys did it was not the rightful way. So you go back and do it the rightful way. What do you think is that for the understand? You have to go back from Harvard University before you understand this.
Maybe we put politics. Maybe we put politics. Maybe we put politics inside and you understand the right way.
Go back, sit on the man. You continue where you started from. You continue from there. You start to do business. You can still put for your point. Right. You can put that pay for the man, make the man understand that we don't need you. So this is our agenda. Can we discuss the agenda that we don't need you as a speaker anymore? Very easy.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
It's not just right, brother.
Thank you so much, and you're right. I'm feeling your tone is. Well, let me go straight to our UK line now and take this call. It's Jay Aki, right? Am I correct?
Yeah. Thank you, neighbor. That's Jay Aki.
Okay, Jay Aki. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, I've been following the conversation. Though I'm going to disagree with Sheku and that of Monk, I mean, I respect. I'm going to give the all due respect of their opinion. But the matter of fact is, the Sheku says that the Supreme Court, left the Liberian going down. Then I'm baffled because yesterday I listened to Ben Sevi, and Ben Sevi was clear. The Supreme Court, they don't take responsibility of the low IQ of Liberians. I mean, that's why we have the media, and that's why we have people like you, Seku, Monk, and Steve to interpret this. The Supreme Court was clear. They said any sitting that they consider or regard Article 33 and 49, it means the people step out of their bound. Do these people have the right to remove their speaker? Yes, it's constitutional. But there's a constitutional provision. That's why they invoke Article 49. So if you come on the radio now, you spend more time talking about Article 49 says what Article 33 says. And then you see if those who call themselves majority bloc, if they were in conformity with those articles. Other than that, I don't see anything different because Article 33 they gave the speaker the direct ruling, a rule in favor of the speaker because they said quorum, but equally, if you don't reach quorum, if you have a lower number, the lower number can compel. That's why you see yesterday when the speaker got down ready, he boosted. And then he said he's going to now use the time now to, call a fellow colleague, a fellow representative to come back to session. And then if it's given due process, we will contemplate on the transition. So I beg you, the reading is very powerful. I will plead to they shouldn't fall prey on the precedents of the past. Let's look at what the Supreme Court said. If you understand it clearly, interpret the Supreme Court. God tell you what, a lot of lawmakers who on the majority block listening to this type of conversation. If you not being blunt to them to tell them that the Supreme Court rule against them, it will give them the courage to think what they do is right. So if you know that what they do is wrong, do they have the number? Say it and elaborate people know it. Elaborate people react to it that they know very well that the Supreme Court rule and the rulings against the majority block, and they will be provoked to push that lawmaker to go back to session and do the right thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. This country of ours, everybody know. The only thing I like about Liberia, everybody, the lawyers, everybody, the engineers. Good evening. Yeah, Mama, you in laws, but you don't be doing that kind of thing to us, man. Yeah, some of you, you've been with us a very long time, but sometimes you do something. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, never evening. This is Brown Saturday for jumping here.
Thank you, Uncle, for joining us.
Yeah, I've been following your discussion. And let me say hi to Steve more and Sekou. But since the Supreme Court hand down opinion with everybody being taking their own side. But let me put it this way. If a man killed in the public, for example, like on Broad Street, the man will go and fire somebody, the person drop. And then the more justice, people go angry and kill the person on the spot. Is that more justice? And then if for any reason that they not kill on more justice and they went to court, and the court said we will execute the man. There were two instances. Who run inside? The court that said you will execute the man because he killed publicly. And nobody's supposed to kill people. Or people who group of people angry and just kill the person and say they are giving the person justice because he killed on Broad Street. That's a scenario we're talking so. But the now say we're not starting from taking whosoever from power. But before you take somebody from power, do it SYZ. You don't go by SYZ. Some people say, okay, we are emphasizing this article because we want you to certify there, then your action will be right. So if they say more justice is better than somebody going through due process before execution, then of course, the kind of society we have now. And we are always say that Palala has to talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Uncle. Steve, I think we got to, because we have a problem.
Yes, we'll take,
we'll
take few calls from here. Let me see if anyone has any call. I got a caller that called me. I told him to hold on.
So some of you now will be calling me on the other side.
Yeah, but you're not picking up. The caller is not picking up again. Let me see. Let's give you a try again. Okay. Just give it one. Yes, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Yes, my name is Sharif, and I'm calling from Maryland.
Hey, Sharif, go ahead. Make your point.
Thank you very much. Let me say hi to this one. I just want to say to Brother Sekou that he has been wrong entirely since Joseph Boakai came into power. Liberia is all about politics, and as long politics is involved, we should now, forget about the law. We should forget about everything and just play the politics. If Sekou can sit there and say Joseph Boakai violated the law, when in fact they only play politics with their team positions, then Joseph Boakai he was wrong by saying Joseph Boakai is wrong. Because the Supreme Court ruled and said that Joseph Boakai should allow the people to continue their term. And Joseph Boakai was politics. Suspend them and put another person there. That was politics. The law was neglected. The law was abandoned. Now, I get this point when it comes from Liberians how to listen, you cannot. Then we shouldn't be on the radio. You know, the last call from UK, he made a valid point. We expect the radio, the journalists, the people who are advocating should be the ones to explain to the Liberian people the right thing. We should now be emphasizing on Article 33 and 49, explain to the Liberian people what it is and what it intends. You know, but we just pray into the politics. Just play the politics. It's so disheartening to the point where some of us that we don't want to even be part of anything that advocacy or anything like that. Because very simple should know better than this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Caller, what's your another caller? Hold on one second. Let me take the last caller and then we'll go from there. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Hey, Steve. Good afternoon, my brother. Good afternoon, man. It's Sickle, and then of course I'm people in Nigeria. Again, great show, guys. I know we're back to the discussion from yesterday. It's fascinating. You know, I beg to differ with Sickle and Monk on a few issues that they made. One, Sickle said that he's speaking of frustration that people are not taking their destiny in their own hands. But there is a history of Liberians deciding to take their destiny in their hands. That was evident by the war in Liberia. Samuel Doe was a military leader. And there are a lot of things that happened over there that people decided finally that they were going to take their destiny in their hands. So the history is there. So that's why I started the different from. Yeah, people are not doing it now, but they will get to the point that they will resolve to do something. That's one. Two, with regards to one situation that indeed the Supreme Court made decisions that it was ambiguous and so to speak, it feel that it was in the direction of the majority. Yesterday, two things happened. For that to go forward to the court, the fact that the Supreme Court in its decision, the war on violence, it meaning to say that something was done wrong. My question to Monk is simple. Just for them to go back to anything outside of the rule of law of the Republic of Liberia and the level of legislation. So in essence, implicitly it's telling you that the majority.
Steve, you getting the color right? Because it's breaking up. I can't even understand what he's saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hearing him.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, so basically, the fact that it started that war in the because the opposite of ultraviolet is intraviolet. You need to say you're doing the right thing. But the fact that the people who set that war, everyone is known. For the people who have not violated anything constitutionally. So it's telling you that if you did something wrong, it's right. That's the effect of inserting that war into that ruling. So basically, people they refuse to do it right. Like I said yesterday, we get information that they will not get the plural from either. Because 142 not going to vote on it confused it. So the question is,
Thank you.
so that's why I said what I said.
Thank you so much. Well, let me take this last caller and then we'll react and we'll call it a day. There's a caller calling me. I'm not going to click over. Let me take this last caller. This caller did not answer. Let me try one more time. And yeah, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, this is John. This is Mr. Wawolo calling from Maryland.
Go ahead, Mr. Mawolo.
Yeah, listen. I don't know what Sickle and Monk talking about, but listen, that Supreme Court judgment was as clear as everything. The The only thing the Supreme Court didn't do, and which they couldn't, they said they have the right to force these people to come to meeting, to session. How they can force them, they're not going to tell them. You have to decide how you're going to force them. Because the legislature hasn't made any law to say how, but they have the right to force them. Whichever way for the speaker chooses to do that, that will be his prerogative. Because the law didn't say how. It just said you can force them. So whether it's taking their seats from them, whether it's calling election commission and telling them that the seat is vacant, that's how. Listen, the Supreme Court is not there to educate Liberian people on how to read. It is the job of the talk show hosts and the journalists to read the document and explain it if they care about their country. Well, it's to the people. Not clear, it's not clear. I mean, come on, that's deductive reasoning, that's logical analysis of a document. Somebody carried a case, the court responded to the case and said the other people are out of bounds. If somebody got a problem and they say the person wrong, does that mean the person will continue fighting? It means they must stop. So, unless it says stop, then you know, it's always political. Can you please explain what it means by political outside the limits of the Constitution? What is political? I said before to him, and I'll say again, there is no political way to move the speaker. It's constitutional. The Supreme Court said the same thing yesterday. Anybody who thinks Joseph Walker can overlook that ruling and go and deal with the majority, two things will happen. The Senate will refuse to work with him or to do any document coming from the majority, and the country is going to be censored because that's a lawless country. So he can choose what he want to do. He can tell the boys to go back, and when they get the number, they can move the man, or if the mayor is on fire. But they guarantee them, even if Onati steps down, who's not going to win.
Thank you.
And they want home. So they need to figure out their way and do it right. But the Supreme Court judgment was very, very clear. And unless you can understand English, and that's not the prerogative of the Supreme Court, they said what they said, and we defied very Joseph Walker. Second, who said nothing was happening? Nobody told the war was going to happen. Nobody told the coup was going to happen. Nobody told people could be that wicked. But so we never know what can happen. People just got to abide by the law. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, folks, Mark, what say you? As we close for today, what say you?
For me, I know Tom is going to vindicate the position that I took on this issue. People can put all their interpretation on it. That's why the speaker, he's a politician, he's a lawyer. That's why he's talking about, I'm contemplating my transition. He know how this thing is going to end. I don't have to come here to explain myself the Supreme Court ruling. I don't know, Mr. Maulo, I respectfully disagree with him. The Supreme Court never told you about other means. The Supreme Court said in the event that the speaker is presiding over the minority, the Constitution is devoid of any mechanism for how the minority could compare attendance of absent members to the legislature or promulgate an enabling or standing rule within their for the process for comparing absentee members. Where the Supreme Court is saying that there is no law that can compel them to come back. A matter of fact, apart from the Constitution, even when we go to your own rules that govern the horse, you don't even have any mechanism in place to compel them. That's why I keep telling you, you will never get a constitutional provision that will end this matter because it began as politics, it will end as politics. That's why Fanatic Kofa, knowing exactly what is happening, he's telling you, I'm reaching across the aisle to my colleague because he knows to change the trajectory, he needs the number to conduct a quorum. And once he has quorum, it's going to change the variable in this game and it's going to play in his favor. In the absence of Fanatic Kofa acquiring a quorum, I bet you a week or two from now, when he look at it, he will tell you, say, I'm walking out. That's it. So he's going to give you one more shot. He's going to try political maneuvering, try to make some calls to reach across the aisle just to give him that number. If Fanatic Kofa fails to acquire the number needed for a quorum, he will resign like every other speaker around the world. I told people from the beginning that this is a political matter. It will end at a political matter, and everywhere around the world. Let me ask you one question, Steve. Do you think that speakers around the world that can resign, do you think that they don't understand the constitution? But they understand the fact that when you take a constitutional right to settle a legislative impasse, it becomes almost impossible because politics will exploit the loopholes that are in the same constitution. That's why the Supreme Court is telling you that the constitution is vague, it's open-ended on Article 33. So it's up to the speaker. Go out there, reach out to your colleague, make some calls, whether if you are using George Weah or whether you are using Joseph Boakai, try to get the number that will be able to conduct a quorum. And once you can conduct quorum, it means you can do the Liberian people business. If you cannot, case a goodbye. End of story. I'm done, bro.
Thank you so much, Mark. Let me say this. During last year, before December, some of us took a stand that cost us friends today. It cost us some associates, some relatives, and some people we built some very good relationships with in the past, over the years. And that was the case of Alexander Cummings. When the case came out, we said it would have nothing to do with politics. They lied. It was a dangerous venture. Some of our friends came and argued and said it was politics. And we said, we cannot take face value, both face lie, and say that politics. We can't do that. Now, what was happening to Mr. Cummings was wrong. And Liberians should stand up and say it's wrong. If the Liberian people don't want to vote for him, that's fine. But to incriminate a man under the name or in the pretext or context that he changed a document, when all of you, the players in this situation, knew that was not the case. For you to even sit on the table, and I guess somebody calling Serena Cephas name. Serena Cephas will be a human being in that country that you're supposed to be wasting your time behind. If you're serious money, you want to go somewhere, Serena Cephas, Serena say man Cephas, or man who get woman name passing around with it. And you're thinking I want to be a serious money human being, or man who was sanctioned by the United States and he resigned from his job, or man who is, I don't understand y'all. Further, even be calling Vani Shema name. And you say you're ready to move for something serious, whether that the Kofa high of Serena Cephas or the majority black high of Vani Shema, it's still wrong. These people, these people with tinted characters, sanctioned people, be the one to be lawyers to go sit down in court. What kind of country is this? What kind of cuts on your in that country? And you can see reason. These people that's all be in court. They're supposed to be lawyer passing around. Vanisha money needs to become in conversation again. But this is where you guys are. I know that you're not serious minded when I see the kind of poll lineup. But here's the thing I wanted to end up on. We told you that they made up Trump charges against Alexander Cummings. It was wrong. We can't see wrong and say it's political. We can't ignore the Constitution and say it is political. We can't see people plotting against other people to do what is wrong and say it is political. And that's why Benny Jonah asked a good question. So somebody should go and steal when they want to arrest you. And you say, oh, it was political, the stealing while they were political. We can't do that. We have to get to the point where we're reasoning like human beings. Where we're reasoning like people who want to go further. Because these things will be precedences and it will be on record. So because Alice Tyler resigned, and what the other one? Melvin Snow resigned, Eddie Melvin Snow resigned. So that means Fanatic Kofa should also automatically resign. We got to change the trajectory. We have to. Again, I want to applaud Fanatic Kofa for sticking the gun and saying that he will not resign. And he should not resign. The foolishness must stop. And we need to stop taking sides with people when we know it is wrong. You know it is wrong. Your conscience tells you it is wrong. You know because you are a grown man and woman.
That's the country, my brother.
You know it is wrong. That's how integrity starts. When you can question yourself on these kind of things and not go by the majority or the popularity, but what is right and what is true.
Because it's my party.
And the truth here is this. This has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with refusing to adhere to the rule of law, which will create problem later on. I want to say lastly in passing, for me, I don't care losing friends or losing associates or family members over standing for what is right. In this case, the court ruled against Richard Kuhn and the rest of them people that the rest of the people that whatever they are doing is unconstitutional. And I will take that as face value. At face value, and I will say to Joseph Boaka, like I said yesterday, fool around and you will understand what time it is. You will know what's up. You will know. That's all me I got to say. I ain't got nothing else to say. It is what it is. Whether people will act, whether stranger will act, it is what it is. Thank you,
So
folks.
that's it. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Good night.
What else for us apart from what tomorrow at our church?
Yeah, tomorrow is that first Sunday? Second, yeah, tomorrow be second Sunday tomorrow. So yes, indeed, tomorrow will be service. But again, my brother, like we always say, Liberia is the only country that we have that we have to protect and to do everything possible that we develop. But again, with all of the holy and putting, Steve, you just nailed something that we got to remove sentiment, we got to remove political party affiliation, we got to remove all things and put Liberia first. The reason why we are not moving forward, Steve, is because we prioritize individual. We look at people. We want to be pre-thinking people, like what you just said about people who were dancing yesterday to talk Mr. Coca, right? I watched the video. Strong men, energetic men that's supposed to be with their wives and children, that's supposed to be working, standing behind somebody and dancing in the name of you want battle. Which one is battle? But again, that's the country that we live in today. So there's no good example for the upcoming generation. When we see these things, some of you just get angry and say, oh, maybe they just talk. No, because there is no good example for the next generation. If you are still proceeding this way, if you are still doing things like this, Steve, tell me, what are we going to tell the younger folks coming after us?
My man, I seen grown men standing here calling and say, I want the president passing around uselessly, calling themselves fertility brother, alpha, fee, alpha. What kind of foolishness you got going on?
And these are things that all we want, Steve. This are kind of life that Liberian want. They just see these people. Look, Steve, like I was telling somebody not too long, I said, few of our government officials, they take pay maybe after every 2 weeks, depending on what do you mean? I think somebody made 10,000 USD per month or 15,000 USD per month, Steve. So if you divide that into two, they put them close to almost 7,000 or 5,000 after every 2 weeks. Why you make only 150 for 31 days? So the person's life is progressing 10 times than you, or you are there thinking, dancing for them, healing them that they win case, they win this, they do this. Nobody is supporting Francois. For some of us, we are not in line with anything that has to do with Francois becoming speaker or not. But what we are saying is that do the right thing for tomorrow's sake, so that tomorrow we'll be able to tell our children these stories that yes, indeed, once upon a time this happened. Today, Ghana go to election, and I think putting close and counting is ongoing. But either Monday or Tuesday, Ghana will be having a new president. But today, Ghana is far better than Liberia. All we do here is politics. Politics, traditional people today, Steve, they were seeing at the home of the president. Yes, so many people today, Steve, crying that even President Joseph Yima Boaka were not able to get down from his vehicle or to even speak to the people in front of his compound. Steve, then where are we heading?
My man.
We have adult people going to your house to go and tell you, oh, 8 months, 7 months, we haven't taken pay. People
Move
cry.
on.
Then you see that
Move
you
on.
mad at them.
Move on. Move
People
on.
don't cry. Yeah. Anyway, that's a country, man.
I support Joseph Boaka on that one. I do. It's sweet for the people who are there to tell him anything, and he said he is not going to listen to them. I support Joseph Boaka on that one. They're not hungry yet. They're not serious yet.
So when he told me that in fact I remember Banga I spent 10 minutes.
I say it's serious.
In Banga.
Joseph Boaka, mais bon. Joseph Boaka people and I support him. Me I will people then. Joseph Boaka people and I support people. Joseph Boaka people. No, Joseph Boaka shiggy right now. Joseph Boaka shiggy.
Country one.
And I tell the woman Joseph Boaka to be in that position.
177 years, people are still crying for salary business. People are still crying for so many things.
My man, no more. And I can't here to waste my time. And I can't here to waste my time on people who bring their own suffering to them, and they think me I can pay to them, and I pay them. If you think you bring your own suffering to you, and you think me I can pay to you, just like Boaka shiggy. And I enjoy rolling. The men are people. You see how the men rolling now with Kengo and whatever it is. The men are shiggy. The men are people. Joe Ball are people. He not care. I say Joe Ball are people, and I stay with him. Anything I come with chilling, I will stay with my papa. Hey, I used to be staying with Joseph when you were chilling. With Joe when you were chilling. Hey, I used to stay with Joe. Joseph Ball are shiggy. You won't get who care about you. Joseph Boaka shiggy will not care.
No, people go to the Papa house today. The Papa don't even care.
Let me tell you something.
In this month,
the month
of December, even if you want to have issue where people sleep, they can't be in the month.
Say you're not talk on the radio. You will not get fun for the Christmas and the New Year. You can't do nothing. Joseph Boaka shiggy. Today, Boaka changing Kengo. Today, Boaka changing suit. Anyway, Israel don't having different suit. Today, everybody wearing different color suit and tie again. He laughing. Look. I told Joseph Boaka the only way me I will be behind him. The way I'll be behind him, unless he start chilling, real hardcore chilling,
Good night.
No. Wait, don't go here, man. I'm rushing for you.
No, gotta go. Good night. Nothing one now. Oh, also you'll be chilling, but we two will not be cheering, and the people.
No, we cheer where?
What are you saying?
We cheer where? Yeah, you haven't put them. You don't do nothing. The important part. You get. Imagine, Memo. You get traditional people who get Zoe. You get traditional people who get Zoe. Who get they call themselves traditional people, medicine people. They begging for them to get a pay. Can you imagine that? A common people that's obey. Just that brother are big shiggy.
So that means, Steve, what you are saying, before we go now, that means what you are saying, if there's some people can beg, or maybe for their own salary, then what's going to happen now to even the young people? That means
But I'm telling you, the people who are so, who people so be afraid of.
I disagree.
So that Boaka position there. So that Boaka put them on lay away and position there, being studio making the whole day. And the threat, the other time will bring devil. If they almost 1 week, 2 weeks, the devil said know what time it is. They need a thing for the devil to come out. Now, how would I talk with sell the devil? Hey, they bring the devil. We're waiting. We got
77. My man, good night.
Wait. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean when the pepper give devil? You don't see give devil.
Tomorrow.
Wait, we go back. Where we go. Let me say this. I am not sorry for any Liberian. And I'm not here to make no case for you. You're like useless people. You're like unserious people. You're like useless life. You're like criminals. You're like bad people. And this is exactly what you get. You take a man who are not useful to himself, who are living on loan, and you make him president. And you say that means it will better your life. And that means it will come on a radio. That means it will come on a talk show. It can't waste my time and say I'm making case for you. You got to be, something got to be wrong with you. I'm not making, for any one of y'all. It's sweet for y'all. And I will talk to Joseph Boakai. No, Joseph Boakai are real shiggy, and he need to be operating like a real shiggy.
Yo, man, let me do like it to us, man. Steve, stop. What kind of the permanent do it to Steve? No, let me be free with you. See, they feed them by the permanent on a red track. I don't
care what you do. You can't do nothing. If you don't know your voice, you keep coming on the show, be talking foolishness. You don't know your voice. You be a guilty our government will get you to the far. Look, I'm telling you now, be very careful.
No, listen to me. No, we for the massive. We for the massive.
You're the massive. They'll catch you again to the far. I then you notice. Talking about you for massive, the useless masses who passing around making excuse to not do what is right. Well, we're telling them, say, you vote this way, you don't vote that way. Oh, yeah, the papa got experience, and the man got experience. I don't useless masses there. So I can't on the radio, I can't waste my time. You're not ready yet.
The whole frustrating about it is that they still dancing to Kogan. Look at that kind of thing.
They're not dancing
to people that even enslaving you.
They're not dancing.
I'm a Lima life. I go be being somebody busy. Hi, yo, say, I really want. See, my brother, good night. Good night.
And I want, and I want me, I suppose, to can't leave my precious time. My good thing was all be doing, was all say. I want to can't leave and can't go talk for a bunch of useless people. That was all do. Anybody say I insulted them because I call you useless in your business, I don't care. If you make a useless decision, you are useless. You made useless decision. You're elected a man who are living on loan. They are gonna cry people here for know to say what that means. Will tell you the time you're in the mud, in the purple water, in the rain.
Oh man, that day is that September? I think that was September. September. Good night, my brother. They think I say good night. We can make people cry. See you, man. I'm gonna bring the whole story out because on the
no, I just reminding them. I just reminding them. You get someone do you doing everything for her. Who she see what that in government or something she leave you. You talk to her. I know I can provide you the word, but at least I'm able to take care of you. Able to one or two. They say no, they're not one. I want. The future is bright. No, they want, and they probably won't get it. Who they go now? They sagging now. Then she won't come back. You'll come back where you something wrong with you. What are you watching for? But what are you watching for?
Mama, see you.
What the people running away for? I don't mind who fully people there talking about Puma and make case. That means they'll make case for you. They ain't ready yet. They see why you're in the ring dancing. You go by in the ring again. You go protest or you go dance. You go back. Joseph Boakai are real shiggy, and I stand with Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai are people. Joseph Boakai are people. Joseph Boakai will get your body where and get your way. You can't do nothing at a good thing. The man are president now. They made him president. You take somebody who won't know me president. Somebody who on loan, you make him president. Man who on loan, living on loan, you make him. Or man who, just think about it. Or man living on loan, you make him president. Then you tell me, say, the man I give you pay for 8 more. And 8 more money the man using to pay rent. He's using to pay his loan off. Joseph Boakai using your pay to pay a loan off. And while he's doing that, you will be fussing in front of you and be dressing and be going to different parties. And you're going to do nothing. It's sweet for you. It's sweet for all of y'all. All the point, like, bro. It's sweet for you. The Liberian pool is sweet for you at large. I'm not here to be no. I'm not paying none of y'all. You ain't deserve no pity. You ain't deserve no sorry heart. No, you ain't deserve it. You honor yourself. You brought yourself into this foolishness. You're like people who will suffer you, who will abuse you, and who will use you. And meanwhile, I come, I will remind you every day. So you're like useless people. And I will remind you. Y'all get ready again. 2029, you'll vote another useless person there. I got no problem with that. I don't have no problem with that. I'm living good. I'm set. I'm cool. I'm living, my Judas will come and rub it in your faces. It may be very coming to court. When I get to the court, I'll tell the court that you put a useless man in power. You saw that you were useless. You went for him. You made president and he decided to act useless on you. Then you want to make in my ear. You're not ready yet. You're not serious. You're not serious. If there's someone young in the community, you see the men are useless men. You see the men pay own bill. You're not jumping from one apartment, you get evasion, notice everything. Who do you think is that I want people because you're in love? You lay your emotion on to set you up for failure. The tanker you want to make in the community. That we don't want to collect money to give it to you because they kick you out of your house. That we don't want to pay your rent. That we don't want to pay your rent. That we don't want to come to your aid. You and your children, you will be outside. You will suffer. They put you out in the snow. You, if the landlord, if they evict you, I will sit down watching your children in the snow. You will suffer. Stupid people. That's why you need to get. When you make stupid decisions, that's what you get. I stand by what I say. I'm not changing what I say. If you like it, go over where you want over. You're not doing me a favor. I don't care your own life. I could care less. And that's why some of you 40 years old, you looking like 65. There's someone suffering you're going through. You ain't even go through. You're only 11 more into your journey. Only 11 more. I see you're making you're crying for hunger. 11 more, you crying for hunger. Only 11 more. You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. We yet. To that bar with tea with your one by one. And I'm a papa as name with him. Then go out for Lofa. You're cool night. Have a good weekend. New week. Stay blessed.
There are things we can do. We bring it good news and we give it to you. We judge it before. There are things we can do. We bring it good news and we give it to you. We judge it before just the connecting people and culture from here up out of the globe. Worries are people who waiting to sell. Blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The brothers giving us the end, the parents of them. The welcome and life we have again.
I lyrical health.
Master.
Cleverly, so I you. I can't ask you if you been you. Say my journey, Tina can ask my jamo. And yes, I know money. And more, I know. And you love
SKTV, the best in Liberia. SKTV, the best in Africa. SKTV, the best in Mama Liberia. Must survive the lofa and grandbaza.
And I didn't ya to money. And I said ya to money. And I couldn't play ya to money. And I could do ya to money. And I didn't ya to money. And I said ya to money. And I couldn't play ya to money. And I could do ya to money.